Okay, I mean, okay. What happens when you create a plasma environment with putting systems around it? And let's say this is your body. I'm going to make it fat with everything in it, with your little legs and little arms. When you create a plasma and the body, let's say the whole structure of the body is in balance, we see that, right? When, let's say, this point, a tumor in the lung is created, the plasmatic environment, when you put in the system, compares this with its environment. If this is not in such a space that is not in balance, it's trying to transfer fields across in every shape or form as you see it. This compares this with the immediate cells around it and the cells around it. This is how we see such a rapid reduction in the size of the tumors, because the energy comparison is with the outside first. Now, this is not balanced with the outside. It changes, goes to the next layer, next layer, next layer, till it gets to the seed, to the center of it. And in the medical part, I have explained that to Dr. Rodriguez, and it's been tested to be correct. Then you create an environment for that seed through your system, that the energy of the seed is transferred and the seed of the cancer does not exist. Every cancer is not, as we said, there are three types of cancer. You got the evolutionary cancer, you got the what I call accidental cancer, and then you have the cancers which come the emotional. 80% of our cancers are emotional. 90% of cancers are created by emotion. So when you have these systems, the whole system works not only just on the physical, but the emotion too, which caused the creation of this. So in this process, you work with the totality. In this process, you work with all the elements step by step, from layer by layer by layer by layer. When it's not in comparison to its environment the same, then it releases its energy, is taken and is used. And what we do, we dump it into salt water, which is the energy which is arrived. You don't circulate the balance energy. What is coming in is always dumped. This is how we do it at this moment of time. In the plasmatic condition, when you enter these rooms, you have to find balance in respect to the cell next, not to a cell with here. It's the way it works. If there is a balance, there is no difference, and the balance is near enough. That's why if you look at the structure of brain, layer by layer is very, very similar to each other. So you don't see a tumor. When there is a tumor, there is huge amount of energy, because tumors usually have a seed. You have to understand how a tumor is created. The tumor starts with, let's say, a seed of calcium. Calcium in the amino acid environment is heavy, because it's in comparison to the others. When you have a few calcium grains together, now they create a gravitational pull. And this gravitational pull starts absorbing energy, because it's in a gas state. It's not in a matter state. So in absorbing energy, it creates itself a more and more field expansion. And now it absorbs all the energy from all the environment into it. What you do with these systems is you create a balance which these fields gradually, as they share their energy, they literally disappear, because the field goes somewhere else. And then as you dismantle this, you see, you get to the seed. You go up down to about 80%. But if you change now, when we have the coils, at the moment we're producing coils, so it's fixed with a fixed material. We still get left with about 20% of the cancer in the center. Now with the GAN system, you can do two things. You can go directly for the plasma, and you go directly into the plasma, you create the reduction in the tumor, and then you know the seed, like we know 100% of the breast cancer, the seed is calcium. Once you taken the structure away from it, then you change your coil combination in the boundary to a calcium level, higher, lower, and in the process you take the calcium out. This has been done. We've seen the drain of calcium even as on the hair is done by the doctors in South America. If you in the, what do you call it, doctors teaching, where we do private just for doctors, we see these things. They report what they've seen, how they've done, and what they've seen, and how the process works. We've seen the we look at the blood structure in a different way. We look at when you have a cancer, we don't look at the blood as done in the hospitals today. We have asked the doctors to look into the metals and semiconductors and other elements like minerals in the blood. The blood results of today are not good for a cancer because it doesn't tell you what it is made of. With the new technology, we look at the structure of cancer. When there is a cancer, let's say it's a high elevation of calcium. So it means that 99%, the center of your calcium, the center of your cancer is a calcium. So you know you have to get rid of the fat amino acid. This is just padding it up. You go for the seed, which is the calcium. If you just take the calcium out, then you have a system here left as tumor, which later on becomes a problem. But once you strip it, you take it, all its clothing off, you're left with a seed, then you just, in 1 minute, 10 minutes, you move out the seed by the transformation outside the body. You don't need to do the operation. Have you seen it? Dr. Rodriguez can tell you about the dog. He went exactly what we said, looked in, found it was an iron, he did, and the tumor was not there. It was removed as it was, there was no tumor. We've seen with the doctors in South America, where they see a flake of white stuff where they put the system where the calcium is transferred out of the body without any surgery. And that's the seed of the cancer. We are very advanced in development. I've done this nearly 15 years, 20 years, so for me it's not new. I just advise our doctors and the scientists who are around us carry on the work, and we get to the results which we knew from the beginning, but it's done by the others. This is the way the process is working at the moment. We do the same thing with the farming. So when you create a box for a cancer, it compares it to its immediate environment. And then if you have a cancer which in comparison to the rest is high energy because it's absorbing all the energy, then the body tries to find its balance. You have a high here, you have a low here, and somewhere in the middle there is too high. So in that process, this become too highs and this become low. So this cannot be changed because it's constant. This is the guy in the middle who's losing it. This is how it works. The same works with the emotional diseases like Alzheimer's. You change your system on the boundary with the plasmatic heavily on zinc. So what you do, the weakness is inside of the body of the man. You add in it the zinc, and because it's lower, it receives till it finds a balance in respect to the rest of it. And then you find the man walks out of it all Alzheimer's within minutes. We have to understand the principle behind it. And we don't teach this in public because public starts doing all sorts of funny things and all sorts of mess. But in the private teachings with the medical, with others, I teach deeply. The doctors understand it. And there's a lot to teach it.
Does the same condition hold for the brain?
Everything.
If you're trying to regrow brain cells?
Of course. But you have to understand what you're trying to regrow. You have to understand where the growth of the brain cell. The brain cell doesn't grow in the center. The brain cell grows on the skull. This is what the world of medicine has never understood.
In one of the teachings, you explained it. Can you go over it again? How the calcium?
You see, in the brain, in our skull, we have the bone structure. As I said in the teaching, this is the body of the man. This is the plasma of the man. This part of it is to do with the emotion and the soul. And this part of this thing, which is the physicality of the plasma of the body, has changed into physicality, it's become your arm and leg. So in this process, plasma of the brain has to work on its own. It always has to have full sustainability. It has to support its own life. So in the process of making the brain structure, it needs, if you go into any part of the structure of the body of the man, you'll find out in the brain there is a calcium seed. We have it. So what happened, the calcium comes from this layer. Your bone, your skull bone creates calciums, which they literally fall in, they drop in. And then as they drop, they get the calcium, what do you call it? They get the amino acid of the right brain. And then they go through the physical part, they go through the emotional part, and they all, doesn't matter where they come, they land up in the structure of the soul of the brain. So you need the calcium from the brain, from the skull, to become the seed of the cell. You can dictate by building certain systems, if this is this part of the brain which is not functioning properly or it needs regrowth, that only calcium from here will end up here. So you allow release of the calcium from this part of the skull. Then you have to understand it needs emotional. Emotional is remote. So you build part of your system in this way that when it comes here, it allows the seed in comparison and in absorption of the seed from there to there, it comes to it. So it takes about 3 months for you to get in there correctly at the position you want. You have to develop a system which can release the calcium in a monoatomic GANS state. And then you have to guide it with the right way that it lands where you want it, because you create an energy system. This is where I want it to be. And then when it arrives here, it has to find a balance in respect, the same as cancer, into the others. And if that balance is not there, it takes the position to bring balance. So now you start bringing the cells of the brain. I've done this many times. It's very easy to, if you understand, but it's got to be done by the physicians who understand it. If you release all the calciums from the brain in one go from everywhere, you create a mayhem.
And so does the intellect come from the emotion part?
Intellect has a level. It's like pain. Intellect has a level in understanding the difference between the external environment, the internal environment of the body of the man, and the soul, and has a strength. Intellect for you, let's say, is at 2 gigabytes, whatever, and mine is at 1.8, and the other guy is at 2.2. Depending on the structure of the physical structure of our body, it dictates on how our intellect, how intellectual we become, how we become wise. But it doesn't mean that just because it's not intellectual in one level, it's not intellectual in the other levels. It has a bandwidth. Intellect has a bandwidth. You find it, but it has to be acceptable both by the physical side and the emotional side.
And so was interaction through breathing through the lung to support the emotion?
That's the second part. That's a different part, because now you work with this section. Then this section has its own to support, and it's got its own physicality and own emotion. Then you have to support these, as I explained in the teaching last night, in respect to the child. This is one part of the process. Breathing air with this combination of the same strength here through the lung to support the iron and what we call hemoglobin is one side, and then you have to support with another part here with the limb, that you support the physicality, the emotional feed, and the soul all together. The man has to understand the separation of the totality, and the man has to understand the complete motion of the totality. In a way, you go and compartmentalize the whole system. The process is very much your physical, emotional, and the soul. It's the soul which dictates the physicality and the emotion. But at the same time, the creation of the physicality feeds the soul. Any other question?
Thank you very much. Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. You're welcome.
There's a lot of Chinese here today, Mr. Kesh. Maybe they would like
Yes.
to have a translated question asked, because
So
you
yeah,
don't speak.
carry on.
They don't speak English, some of them. So there was someone that just volunteered their translation services. And I promoted them to a panelist as they asked. And John Lin, I believe is his name.
Yes,
Perhaps.
so we've been informed by the Chinese authorities and our intermediary in China that the Chinese community has been informed that the energy system will be released today. They're online to take the blueprint and immediately translate it across China to all the Chinese members of the Keshe Foundation. They are part of the structure of the Keshe Foundation China. We are heavily involved with them. Um, I We asked them to be present. It's late night. We are all waiting for Douglas to arrive, and then we can show the system tonight. And the Chinese have been invited by their intermediary between the government and the Chinese Keshe Foundation to be here. A large number are in the background on the QQ, somewhere most probably waiting, and it gets translated to them very, very rapidly.
Yes, apparently there is a translation service going on. We did post the link earlier so that people
Yes, I have sent it to. I have sent it to the Chinese. Why? The sound, yeah. As I said, we're expecting, as we work directly with the intermediaries between the Chinese government, Chinese military, and the Keshe Foundation. And we were told a few days, few weeks ago, do not emphasize anymore on the Chinese connection because there are things happening in the background. We prepare you to be silent. So that's why we stopped everything in that way. But we work very closely. We still pass the message on that it can be done. Men of military and the space of China and energy are in the background, and it gets translated for them. They're all waiting for the blueprint to be released, and the Chinese will run with it because there's a huge crisis on that part. And as we see, the Africans are at the same time waiting for it. We want to show the system in open, in public for the first time, and then after that we release the thing. At the moment it's 22, it's 10 o'clock here in Central European time. It's something like 4 o'clock in Washington. Next hour or so we should be able to gather people around. We just got to see where he arrives actually on the point of destination. It should be any time now. And then we see what is the facility, who's there, and where they will put it together, and it will be shown in public for the first time. We have asked Chinese CCNT to be present, Chinese television channel, and I've been told, according to my RAS correspondence with our Chinese, let's see what they tell us, if there's any further news. No, it's late or early morning in China, and the message is very simple. Reads CCTV for China has been passed the information to be present in Washington. Then the Chinese government officials get it directly from their own web part. This is from our intermediary. It's a CCTV for China. The information has been passed on now. Chinese military has been informed of the release of technology today, and they'll be present watching it. Read from China. Congrats on your programs with China. Really feel happy.
How do you feel, Mr. Cash, right now? How do you feel?
I feel good because we achieved what we set out to do. When we released the MAGRAPH system, we created a lot of confusion in respect to the use of it. The process had to be done this way. I looked at it. If you would have released the generator, nobody would have understood. We had to do the MAGRAPH system. You got to understand, I know the full technology. I don't need others to come and do it. But going through the experience we've been in past 10 years, especially with the terrorist organization, which is now we know who they are in Belgium, we were delayed and blocked. This way I let others to do it, that I just guided you to where I wanted to be. And this brings with it a lot of joy because you get other people's input into it and they develop it the way they see it. But overall, as I said, I've achieved what I came here for. To make free energy from the universe available to the man to be free. And it feels good. It feels very good. As I said to Caroline today, I'm at peace because finally we achieved what we came here for. You have to understand what we've been through since 2004, 2003, especially in 10 years in Belgium in the hand of Red Circle. Threatened, abused, 3-4 times, pardon?
And
Deprived of normal life. You do not know what he's done to us. This man is a terrorist of soul. And now you see on the internet they allow him to put things and be moderated how to kill children and everything else. You do not understand what we've been through, but it's good. It was worth it if, as I say, make one man happy that he doesn't have to worry about money to feed his child, that is not suffering from cold. I have served my purpose, but I know this will touch the soul of every man on this planet. And as we said, the knowledge is shared. If anything happens, even at this moment, automatically worldwide we release it. This is the biggest mistake they'll make. Governments have to start talking to Keshe Foundation directly, and we dictate the terms. Peace, we dictate the terms for food, we dictate terms for agriculture and everything else. You got to realize maybe 3 to 5% of the man will go into space. The other 80-90% plus will stay behind. It's home. Where am I going to go? So we have to make life for them easy, comfortable. That's our responsibility. And then you find where it will make the life of the animals and the plants the same free. And tonight we're at the average of that point. And as you heard from our dearest friend Bernie, we are already in the cube size for a 3 to 5 kilowatt. And we go lower, and in a time, it's gone, it's finished. The way we've been abused and we've been told is over.
What do you view as your most exciting moment that you had this year with us learning from you?
It's when you see doctors can come up with the results you explain to them. A lot of you look for answers, but when you touch the man knowledge and a doctor who's a physician who's his job to save, and he says to you that I was trained to save life, but I've never been given a chance because we were never given the tools of it. Now I create a tool myself and it show you the result of it. I think this is the most wonderful time. Pardon?
He said, now I feel real.
Yeah, that doctor said, now I feel like a real doctor because I can do what I came here for. We've seen a lot of different versions of it, different aspects of it. We've seen the progress of it. The hardest bit for me was when I was a young boy and I was trying to explain to my peers what I see. And at that time, 30 years ago, was impossibility. The rest was knowing that people don't understand. You have to find a way to teach that they understand. And that teaching yourself to teach the others, it brings a lot of insight in the life of the man, how they think, how they are. And then when you've done it with many people, you see a pattern. And I start seeing this pattern in Belgium. The most horrible time which stays with me is when Red Circle ordered the police to come. 8 of them came to the house to kill me. They came the day before. The guy comes with a hat, sits in front of me. I called my people, I said, how can a man come and sit with a hat in my room? He says he's got more fear of killing you than himself. He's come here to give himself confidence. They're coming to kill you. The next day they came, I was on the line away from the house. They're beating Caroline up. And you know, the officer, who is the officer of law, why should you run if you're correct? And it's on the video, a police officer running away from the scene of accident, or what the intention was to kill. And he's the chief of the police of Kortrijk, and makes warrants on his own arrest. Now we'll see to him very soon. That was the most horrible time when you hear your wife is getting beaten up. You don't know if you're going home alive or dead. You find a body. And he's a police officer, call him the chief of police of Kortrijk. This was the most horrible time, and it stays with me. And he was instructed by Red Circle because he knew we are in the process of moving things.
Mr. Kesh, another question from us.
There is one thing I tell you, and I was telling Caroline, it's the shame on the human race to have a nation called Belgium. Shame on us that we have to handle these people.
That's because of Napoleon, who had a brother-in-law who didn't have a kingdom of his own. So it was artificially made just to please his sister.
Now it's a burden on humanity. Okay, ask me the question.
Do you have any understanding of the level of gratitude we all have towards you, all of us, within the Kesh Foundation, the teachers, the students, and I know further along the line, the future generations?
We are not here for gratitude. We are here to serve. I've done this many times in my lifetime in universe. As I explained, I know exactly my position. But we never had it so hard. The criminality on this planet is beyond belief. The good thing is, at least we have to start changing the position. The gratitude has to go to the people around us. I have a very solid team. Very solid team. People you see we call up on, they're here all the time. And the gratitude has to go to all these people who work in the background so hard to keep things going. And I just teach. It's made it easy. Before I had to arrange everything to teach. Now I have a freedom to teach freely. Everything else is done in the background. You got to realize our foundation doesn't receive donations. Everything is done internally. We strive step by step. Even if you see the criminality, which I explained to you, is we used to receive a lot of donations through books and sell out the books. And the same criminal, Red Circle, went around the internet and copied everything around, released all the books to deprive the foundation from it. Because this is what he's done. He's a murderer. He's the biggest murderer human race has ever seen. Jekyll and Hyde. This money which is not there for us to finance more systems in Africa, feed more people, but the knowledge. If you're an African, if you're a European, we have Australian people who write to us, I cannot afford the teaching fees for teachers to be a student. We give it freely. And it's done by the team behind us. They do it. This teaching is the backbone of our work. And the gratitude should go to the people who are the teachers, the people who make it now for the others to understand. Creating a solid team, the way the foundation is at the moment, is taking a lot of work. We have a lot of new people come in, and they come with deception and everything else. We've seen them recently around us. But if you look at the core team of the Keshe Foundation, they're there for 2, 3, 4 years. And this is when we came, when we escaped from Belgium, we start putting the core team together, and it's there. These are the people we have to have gratitude. You see Werner, you see Redden, you see Douglas, you see Armin, people like Rick and Vince, and many, many people, Stanley and Ella in the background. Every one of them has hold one corner of the carpet, as we say, and the carpet is opening up and decreasing. It's beautiful to have a team like this around you. It's a pleasure that you know you're in a safe hand with people and you're not in the hand of terrorists. But maybe we have to go to learn and where we are now. In the time to come, people like Alex and Benjamin, they become the heads, their names will last, because they served humanity with our, what we call it, pure heart. You got to realize we sent Benjamin to Africa less than a year ago. And now in Africa, especially in the structure of the governmental structure of Ghana, in research centers where he is, he has become an icon because he serves unconditionally. People are sick, people need with anything. He's there because he carries the true ethos of the foundation. We see the same with Alex. We see it now with Dr. Gota. We see in China, there are Chinese people who work day and night in the background doing things. I have a lot of respect for the Chinese Keshe Foundation. It's all of us which we have to have respect for each other, not for an individual. I'm a pen holding the hinges together. The other side of the door and the hinge is the rest of the Keshe Foundation. Any other question? Have Douglas arrived yet?
Momentarily. Actually, you got a live video feed there. You can pin him.
Can we see him, please? Can I stop sharing and bring him in?
Yep. Yep.
There we are.
Hi, Doug.
What's up, buddy? Hi, guys.
Hello, Douglas.
Hello, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you very much for a trip.
It has been a trip, that's for sure.
Sure. How far are you from the position where you're supposed to be?
I don't think too far. The Washington Monument's about 100 yards to the left of me, so we're not too far from it, I don't think. Sandy's right in front of us. That's over there with the bikes on the back of the car.
Okay. That's fantastic. It's nice to see you coming in.
Thought we'd share some of the architecture with everybody.
Yeah, thanks.
You better tell us. We just see blocks.
Yeah, you gotta give us a guided tour here now.
Well, that'd be nice if I knew what these things were. This is a big building on the left.
You see the same big buildings in Moscow, but you got to tell us what's inside it.
Ronald Reagan building.
This is U.S. Customs and Border Protection right here, apparently.
Be careful, don't tell them you're carrying guns.
U.S. Internal Development Agency. Some of the neat artwork up in the top of those columns. Here's some of the neater, older buildings. It's beautiful architecture.
Washington is beautiful, especially part of the center side. Yeah, you're moving too much, Caroline says.
Tell her that's my wife's driving. It's not me.
Bill's driving. I'm following him.
Douglas, you're not a macho, are you?
You have that little tripod. Put the camera on that.
Oh, then it'll be all over the dash.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Douglas, I don't know what you will receive there. There are people that are waiting for you. The plan is if our people cannot get you or get access to be able to go to the White House, or people from the White House to accept the material to be seen, you're not handing over any material to them. I've asked to set you up in a hotel, and you set up the system in the hotel that everybody can see. They can see the operation, and then when Arman is happy with the whole situation, we release the blueprint worldwide. Is that okay with you?
Yes, that's great, because I was just talking to Rendon, and I said, it's a really long drive, and I put my MAGRAV through an awful lot the last few days, and I'd really like some time to rest for a minute or two, and the time to put it together properly and make sure everything's out of everything.
Let me tell you, Douglas, take your time. Go in the room, put it together. Nobody in the room till you're happy. Then you open the door.
Yeah,
Don't
that's
let anybody in.
Yeah, I just wanted a little rest, Mr. Kesh. That's all,
Yeah,
and to
no
be able to
problem.
put it together right. So as long as we can get that, we're golden here on this end.
No problem. Let's see what is organized for you, because there must be somewhere accommodation for you organized to stay where it can be done.
Will we be able to see it live from the hotel then, or wherever he sets it up?
Yes, has to be.
Crazy driving here.
Yeah, it's Washington. What do you expect?
Yeah, she's not used to the driving here. Some of the buildings just don't have names on where you can see them. Now, we do have a Starbucks over there, but other than that, I'm not seeing a whole lot other than old buildings that have been semi-refurbished.
Is that a coffee thing?
Yes, that's a copy.
There's close to 1,200 online now watching live.
Oh, wow.
Just remember the diagonal of the states.
Department of Veterans. Export Import Bank of the United States.
This is the Department of Veterans Affairs right here.
It will not exist very soon. When there is no veterans.
They don't do much for the veterans that are here. So
There's gonna be a lot of square footage of empty buildings.
no, we fill them full of coil manufacturing.
Yeah, there we go.
No, there'll be plenty of jobs.
Do you have GPS?
Yes, it's we got GPS right there in front of us, but
It's 201.
No, they're not alive.
It's 2013H Street North.
oh, looky there. Well, there's one place that we need to shut the doors up for sure. I don't know if y'all seen that.
American Bar Association.
Oh, was it American Bar? Oh, yeah.
I think the top guy who came from there already killed himself a few weeks ago.
There's the Woodward building.
Yeah.
2013H Street Northwest, Washington, D.C.
Well, Sandy has stopped
No stopping anytime.
at a place where it says no stopping anytime.
That's Sandy.
No stopping anytime.
Here's your
This is dead.
That's on Google Maps. They will give you voice commands. They will turn you all around. We got turned around. Where we want to be is about 1,500 yards that way. But it's
Okay.
all one-way road. And for some reason, that thing's So when I say right, you turn right, not
I've been there recently. It's 2013H Street Northwest.
Yeah, they've got it. They're just 180 degrees backwards.
Yeah.
They got turned around.
It's
And we're happy, and we
Sunday
happen to be on a
afternoon.
one-way street, so we've kind of got to ride out the one-way street until we get to where we can turn.
So you guys going to Lafayette Park?
I guess I really don't
I don't know.
know.
Okay.
We got to meet up with Armin somewhere at some point and get things scheduled about where to sleep and get all that prepared so I can get things together and start trying to bring things in and into a motel and.
They're asking if there's
Yes, there is a meeting at the Washington College. They're heading that way. We leave you when you arrive there. We bring you back on.
Okay, Mr. Cash, we're going to
Thank
keep
you very
following
much.
Sandy
Thank
here.
you. When you get there, let us know.
I sure will.
Thank you very
God bless.
much. Thank you. Thank you. Bye. Okay. While we're waiting for them.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kesh, for doing all this and for all your teachings. This is Gatua in Kenya. We really
Good
appreciate
afternoon.
all your work. Thank you.
Good evening, Dr. Gatwa. Thank you for your work in Kenya. Are there any other questions?
Est-ce que, why do I speak in French? Sorry, Mr. Kesh. It's the French pain from Oslo. Monique, how do you feel that we are capable to undertake what's happening right now?
Can you repeat the question, please?
How do you understand how we undertake the technology within ourselves? Because I have this understanding of your health lessons, and when we visualize ourselves as this nuclear central, and we build up the link between the microcosm and the macrocosm within ourselves. Tobin is giving me big bag eyes down there. How do you feel? How do you understand the way the world has understood the technology that you are giving us? In other words,
it is how you understand what you do with it. We just received a message on the line that one of the congressmen have been informed that Douglas has entered Washington. It says, I just alerted Congressman Terry Cowdy that the process is taking place. The feeling comes in how we use it. The only comfort I have with this is that this technology cannot be used to harm anybody else. The worst thing you can do with it is to bring balance. And this is the beauty of it. This is the absolute beauty of it. That when I don't need it, you cannot give it to me. I cannot take it. I cannot accept it. And this doesn't create me away from you, but you away from me, because what you have is not what is within me. The most beautiful part of it will be that a natural progress into more and more people understanding it, and a natural progress. These are the people waiting in Washington, apparently, the pictures we see now.
Yes.
It's a natural progress that we are ready to accept the change, but how much we can accept. The biggest enemy of this technology is us, because we put a boundary on how much of it we want to accept, and that boundary will create the problem for us. this is the where we will seek for more what I call understanding from the people, that they understand how we will understand more, how we are prepared to understand more, how much we can give. The biggest problem will come, all of you, every man will understand this, what I'm saying in one sentence. Your progress will stop. When you stop sharing knowledge. Because when you create a barrier to give, it means you do not receive. And that when you do not receive, you create distance with yourself. If I could manage to carry this information and people understand it, then you will understand what the limitation is, or where my fear is. My fear is when people start understanding a little and then thinking it belongs to them, nobody else should know. And then they get trapped in this, and they what I call the river of knowledge stops. We've seen in many number of people around the foundation in the past year or 2 years. They came close, they thought they understood something, and then they start denying everything, and they became everything. And then we see the whole thing stops. There is no further progress. We see people who are here continuously feed, and then they receive more to give more. This is the biggest fear. If you don't understand it, then the whole work is for no good. Because as you understand, you share. You see the way we done it, the way it's done unconditional on the Keshe Foundation. That's what it needs to be done. And then there is no fear. It's you who dictates. The minute you put value on your work, the minute you put, I need something for what I've just understood, it means exactly you have understood nothing, because then that's where the river of knowledge stops. What they call the enlightenment. That's my biggest fear. How people will start holding information back just because they think know it, that they don't understand by what they get the enlightenment, passing on, they receive more, that they give more, then we've done our job. This is the biggest problem from now on, because with this technology you touch the soul of the man, not the physicality of it. And the soul is open to everything, you cannot hide it. In a way, when you see that I received this knowledge and I have to hold it to myself, but the enlightenment is aware of by your soul, and that's the soul that says, I don't want to receive anymore because there's nothing going out, it's blocked. The more you empty the cup, the more you have room to fill in.
Mr. Keshe, did you feel a stretch, a real fatigue with all that was being given for you to convey?
What do you mean?
All this technology that you were feeling within yourself, as you say, the cup, and when people didn't understand, where did you find this energy to convey the message, to give it all to us, endlessly repeating and repeating and repeating again?
It's not you. This is what I say. I answer you in one question or in one way. And I always said, people take as much as their intelligence allows them. So when I see people don't understand, it means, or they get to the point to understand up to there and they can't see the rest of it, it means that's the level of their understanding. Not their intellect, but it's understanding. And you'll find a lot of people who understands from there on. And that's why I say in the teaching, nanomaterial, bunch of people will stay with nano coating because this is where they feel happy with. Bunch of people will go to the GANs and the others on the other part. And we need this because the guy who makes the field plasma and he's never heard of the plasma itself, and never heard of the GANs, and then nanomaterial is the same. But you have to give the people a chance. Not trying to do it and get frustrated. I teach, they don't listen. I was explaining this recently. My sons are all highly educated with PhDs and the rest of it, and I never forced them to join the foundation. Never forced them to understand the technology. Carol and I, we made this decision years ago. We leave it to themselves. And this is the way we've done it with our children. If they want to be around the foundation, if they want to understand, the work is theirs. Even though they were born in it, they listen to it every day in out. And in a strange way, after 30 years, my oldest son was a doctor, he called me a few days ago and says, I want to learn about the technology. Can you teach me? I said to him, go to the website, the master is Armand, learn from him, and then you can build it step by step. I don't get disappointed. I understand it's not a time for the soul to mature at that point. Because it means it's not ready to receive. If you push, you create distance. If you allow it, in time it will mature.
You're a very tolerant person, aren't you?
Not really. I have a very short fuse. You don't want to sit in my chair. Actually, I didn't realize I used to be a very patient man. I was asked if I will help with Hillary Clinton very recently with her position as she's standing for presidential election. And in that process, we looked because she has a lot of physical problems, and we see it with the strokes and other things. And with understanding why she's showing this kind of behaviors, I realized a lot of things in how things happens in life and how mentally we accept it. And it opened my eyes to why I don't accept things, because they're very fast, and in a way they're not acceptable because I see the other side of the line. I don't tolerate what I call nonsense, but on the other hand, I stand for a lot of nonsense too. You've seen me tolerating everything which is put on my name and by one man, which is a terrorist now. We know he's a terrorist. And a lot of people, you have to shut them down. I said, no, it brings more and more people for us. At the same time, it brought us all the enemies gathered in one place, the people who got paid, and he paid them to do all the acts. And now we gave you the key this afternoon. We showed that how the man who sits next to you, eats with you on the same table, is planning your murder every time. And now he couldn't do it. Now he organizes it on the internet, and he opens up and he allows people to come and discuss, and we watch it. So you have to understand the weaknesses of the man, and the rest is easy. I always say to Caroline, when we are sent to this physical conditions, like the journey of this technology on this planet, we come for the physicality fun, which is the joy of being with others. In the other dimension of the space, we don't have this facility. We feel, we don't touch, we understand, we don't see. Here in the physical dimension, you see all the pitfalls.
Can you feel within yourself the genetically, since you're Iranian, all the inherent knowledge from the Persian history?
I don't know. Something which puzzled me for a long time, and I could not understand. I could not understand for years. It took about a few years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. How does so much knowledge about health comes in me? I understand the physicality, the medicine inside out. Never studied medicine. Then I was told that I come from a long line of medicine man. It's in the blood. I was told by my cousin, did you know your great-grandfathers and your grandfathers, they're all what we call medicine man for centuries. So I thought, now I know, but I know things without ever studying it. But did I understand the knowledge that way? That's a different story. We inherit things, and it's a consequence of what we inherit, what comes.
Even your knowledge of anatomy?
Oh, I know so much anatomy you don't even want to know.
Maybe Carolina.
You want to hear something? Caroline, tell you in a minute. Just watch, just listen.
I said you don't want to walk on this street with Mr. Cash. Why? Because every part of your body is speaking who you are, what you are, how you behave, how your character is, what is hiding, what is showing, what you can improve, what you're lacking of. He's explaining me this so many times. It's beautiful because you learn so much about yourself as well.
Now you understand. Caroline says it's an encyclopedia journey.
Thank you.
I've been told that it's raining in Washington. It started raining. Caroline says, I told them expect a storm. This happens whenever we go somewhere, everything starts. What is this? Why does it come here? What is it?
Can we hope to see you in Rome, Mr. Cash?
Hello? Sorry. I have to listen to the boss next to me.
Can we hope to see you in Rome this time? We were disappointed in Dubai, although Carolina made up.
Hello?
Yes?
There is a huge security alert around us in Rome.
Oh.
As you understand, Red Circle has planned a murder, and they have published it. We release it within the next few hours. Sandor will release how they're using the Cash Foundation, the scam Facebook or whatever to communicate, to organize a murder. You will see it. We publish it now with a picture of the man who was behind it, paid by the Red Circle to do it. We have all the information. I've just seen the picture of the dossier ready to go. It does not appear on the Cash Foundation websites. It goes international on the internet. How criminals are working in the background and fully financed by Red Circle. They're using their Facebook to communicate in the background, and our people have taken it. So you want to see the man who's supposed to carry out the murder, you will see him, is Sandor. You can release it worldwide on the touch, which doesn't touch us, please. I've seen the pictures. Yeah, you see the face of the man with, he's called Sam Smith. French security services has provided us with a picture. They wanted it to go out today, and so we done so. And you will see how he works Red Circle. And this man is putting everywhere on the, what do you call it, Facebook about the cash, facts about the Cash Foundation and everything else. And the writings are in the text. You can read it. I'll read it for you, translation. We are going to have to make a tour at Cash History of the test of the rest. And they say Barletta is not safe for him and his son. So you see how Mr. Red Circle on the Facebook of the Cash Foundation scam organizes murder and attempted murder. You can read it. cash victims. Actually, the cash victim was sent up to make cash a victim, not about the victims of cash. And you see it here very clearly. They say what they're going to do in Valletta is the name of the criminal, which Mr. Lawrence, what they call it, has come to do, and pay master of it. This is the line. Now you know the truth about the red circle. We are not afraid of these things, because I have not seen Christ being alive yet. Life has a cycle, and we have to accept the cycle. We have to accept that. Sandor, you can release the pictures on the internet worldwide and distribute it that everybody knows the man. French security has allowed us to release it. Part of the text of who he is has been released on veterans yesterday. So you can see the man himself.
So there is a photo collage which contains screenshots of what he wrote, where he wrote. So it's nothing that we are alleging about. These are only his words.
And his picture. You're in Paris, you know the murderer walking on the street of Paris. And the people who've been writing in the background to help him and support him, they're all been stacked up by the French security and others. That's the reason we have to be very careful on the presentations in Rome. If we get a clearance from the Italian and international security clearance, we will decide yes or no, but we'll be present as usual on the line. You read it. When they plan, it's not there for a child because they are pedophiles themselves. So the child life is irrelevant. Read it. It's been have you released it, Sandor? You should put the picture of the red circle next to it. The boss has always to be known who it is.
I adjust it.
Thank you very much. And show how cash victims is the line to make a cash a victim, not actually victims, because all they stole everything from everywhere. People have to see the boss and the man who's been paid to do the job. Any other question? Release it nowhere on our website, anything to do with us. Let the worldwide to see it. We know the channels how to be done. And the Facebook has to stand why they allow murderers to operate through the website. Understand part of the structure themselves.
How do you feel that the law always protects this type of people?
The law doesn't protect this kind of people. These people have a king who has no line of protection. He's killed many children. We have the full dossier. We released those dossiers too. It's been released. If you go to the French Homo magazine about 7-8 years ago, they have listed how many children the ex-king has killed in raping them. There are 50 cases sitting in Court of Justice of France, claiming immunity. This is why the blood is not given. We better don't talk about it, because now we have set up an international police force of one nation. We bring them through the justice through the actual way. The national police forces have no more say, because they are part of the structure of deception. So we are setting up a structure as a police force that it has unlimited, works on evidence only. People who are setting up the One Nation police force are within the security service. They know exactly what they are doing. They are correct people. And they will set the structure up in the coming time. Any other question? We'll wait till they arrive. If you remember, every time we have one of these meetings, we end up with a very heavy storm, and then it dies off afterwards. It's, as Caroline, as I say, it's a cleanup. It's a total wash of the past. We had the same thing when we went to Vatican. It was sunny, we were standing on the umbrellas. When I went into the building, a few seconds later, it was storming so bad that there was nobody in the square. And when I came out, the rain stopped. So, and we had the same thing with the Indian guru who came to the Sansana. Now maybe it's the time to wash for the, what they call the nationhoods. Mr. Sam Smith, look at your pictures on the internet. You thought you are invincible. The French security is on top of you. They've been for a long time.
There are many Sam Smiths on Facebook.
Yes. Yes, but this one is the Sam Smith with exactly all the pictures. We know who it is, and the police French security knows who it is. This Sam Smith has its own logo which types on cash victims. And he has a Skype numbers and telephone numbers always in the hand of this. All his communications being recorded by the Interpol. He is organizer of most of the violence in Paris. We don't need to talk more. It's the French security who has to open up the case. Those of you who were hovering around him, you were a bait for the security people. Now they know their behavior, your behavior and your work. Any other question?
Yes, good evening, Mr. Cash.
Good evening.
I'm talking from Germany. I hope my English is good enough that you can understand everything.
Sorry, we don't speak German.
I speak a little bit English. So I have a question. It's a medicine question. Is it possible after an operation from gray star cataract, if the lens is from the surgery put it out, is it possible the body knows the information about the lens? There was a lens before. Is it possible for this technique or plasma medical technique desk to rebuild it? This technical board you speak about as also board for cancer.
We done such a thing, but in another part of the body, and it creates problems. We done this with a case of the amputated shoulder, and they put a metal to replace it. And then we knew we can grow the shoulder back, we tried, and then when we start growing the shoulder, the pain appeared as the bone was growing, and we had to stop the process. You can rebuild the body, we remember to build everything, but you have to see what they've done with it. When they withdrew it, they put something else in the place, that now the body has to reject it for it to grow. I'm not aware of the process, how they've done it or what they do with it. But you have to see if a foreign object has been introduced in, or is it just realignment. And then with the GANs, if it's a realignment, you can sort it out. If it's a total taking out of the thing and they've replaced it with something else to cover it, or is it a normal cataract operation? If it's a normal way that there is no anything else has been added into it, yes, you can interfere, you can grow it back. But if it is, no. We are looking the same way as a tooth. If nothing has been put in the place of the tooth, we can regrow the tooth back. But if it's done a root canal and they put other kind of roots in root treatment, everything is destroyed. Can the body produce it?
Yes, it's about operation of my son. In very less years, he was half a year, I think. The first operation, it's about a wrong medicamentation, and there are the gray stars coming and they make the first operation, and after a few months, the second eye is coming gray, and so he must take the next operation. In one eye, he have a plastic lens, and the other eye there is free. And so with
if you, well, let me explain to you, because we are doing a test at the moment ourselves. You know that we are running a clinical trials for the eye, with the supplement and the eye. And this is, we had to comply with the rules and regulations the way we've been permitted by the Japanese authorities to, we had to change some things, and then we had to change it again in the past week. As I said, on the week 22nd, the materials will be sent around the world to the people who got involved. In the process, because we already have started this, we wait to see what the result is on CO2 and the interaction with the plasma of the body of the man. But at the same time, running another test, which is very interesting, but it seems to be very effective. Maybe you want to try that, but the reason for it is I'm trying this. I'm the guinea pig, first person in it. We're testing something very different. Understanding, because I have a very heavy eye degeneration, very, very fast degeneration of the eye, especially the older I'm getting, the worse it's getting. So with the CO2, we saw a huge improvement. And then I stopped the process to see if it comes back. The improvement is still there, but not the way it was at the first week or 2 weeks which I used. Then in the recent week, I started a new process, which is eye carries emotion. Eye has a muscle tissue. Eye has energy transfer, and what I did, I took the GANs of the CO2 as a given measure of 50%. I took the GANs of zinc oxide, and I took the GANs of CH3, and these are all GANs waters, not the GANs itself, and CO2, copper oxide, zinc oxide, and CH3, and I mixed this as the water content into one bottle. So now I use 1 drop or 2 drops in each eye twice a day. I try to use it, and the change is so rapid. What I see before, when I used the CO2, it was very subtle. We saw the change over a week. I could see it, but this within 24 hours, all my vision has come back to normal. So does it mean when we deal with cataract, we have to satisfy the emotion, the muscle tissues, that they find the right balance, and the energy which is needed for the development of the muscle, and the communication, which is a CO2? The result is very amazing, because when I was using CO2 only, I could feel the weakness in one of the muscles of my eye very clearly. I could feel it. With this combination, I don't have that feeling. It seems that everything is controlling itself. Everything is developing at the same time. Maybe this is an alternative, especially with cataract, if you don't want to test it, because we know it affects the cataract. But this way, could it be more rapid? That you mix, what I've done, if you take, I always work on a 10 drop, 50 drop of CO2, 1 drop of copper oxide, 2 drop of zinc oxide, and 2 drop of CH3. And in that scale, I have seen a very rapid change. It got to the point I couldn't see a few days ago. Again, back I was going backwards, because I stopped. Maybe I had to continue with it for 30 days, 60 days. But as I say, as scientists, we travel, we tend to test things on ourselves, and it's very effective for me. Very, very effective for me.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes. I know at the operation they destroy the mask, the die Aufhängung, yes, is the point to end to fix the muscles and to change the sharpness for the lens. They must destroy the surgery must destroy it to put the lens out, and so it's I think I don't know if it's possible to does that lens come back or can grow again. But thank you for this information. It was.
You're welcome. Sorry, we share freely, but this, what I tell you, is my experience.
Yes, yes, okay. Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Cash. And we are the whole family. I have 3 little childs, and we pray every day for you. For blessing, and you make a special good work, and God bless you, and thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much indeed. Have they arrived yet, or are they still hovering around the, what do you call it?
Armin directed him to go to the hotel now.
So we gotta wait till they arrive in that place.
We're getting a message from Mark Erb here, who's said a couple times to please ask Douglas or Sandy to set their GPS to 2013 H Street, Northwest Washington, or it could take them a long time.
I think it's a bit too late. Now Armand is there, they'll never get there.
Well, I don't know.
Round the block again.
Round the block. Oh, you missed it.
They said, yeah, he just texted me. He said, Cash told us to get a room first. So,
yeah, no problem.
Well, the address that Mark gave is that's the university address. There's apparently a group of people waiting.
That's where it need to be. A lot of people are at the university. They got to go to university. Can you tell him he's got to go to university first, not a hotel?
Okay.
Please. No, Armand, you're not going. People are waiting at the square. They got to go where we said, not at the hotel. That's the last place we need. People came all the way to be there.
Okay.
Please.
Okay.
Tell Armand to go to the square as well, please.
Okay.
Thanks. This is the beauty with the live program, huh? Everything can happen.
Yep.
You see this new plasma has a single wire. They have already adapted the power units in the drawings. You don't see 2 lines. You plug your house into the maglev system. Flint, if you can tell them to go to the square to gather everybody and then take them to the hotel, that'll be a nice place to be in.
Oh, okay. Gather. How about if Doug just starts doing his thing, setting up, and then someone else goes and collects
No,
it?
no. They're waiting for Douglas there. They're not waiting for anybody else. Send Douglas.
Okay.
That is the problem.
Yeah, okay.
There are a lot of people waiting there. We've seen the pictures.
Okay.
Okay, please. Thanks very much.
So just a meet and greet there and
yeah, and then they all go to a hotel if it's raining, it's of course, and then
okay.
Our people will inform the White House guys, we are there if you want to come and say this is the place.
Okay.
Okay, thanks very much.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. I'm going to take a few minutes off. I'll come back, please. Carry on.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kesh. Okay, just checking the messages here. Is there any other questions or comments about the situation in Washington now?
Yeah, we should start to get people to head towards the square. If there's anybody sitting at the university, we should head them towards the square, please.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I mean,
that's different.
No, they're meeting at the university. That's what Kesh just said, right? He just said new directives.
No, it's square, at the square. I've already changed.
University.
Can we get Kesh back again? I just told them to go to the university.
Oh, it's either or, because they could just walk from the university as well.
Because that 2183, whatever that address is, that's at the university.
2013 H Street.
Yeah, 2013. Sorry.
I think it was first University Yard, and then after University Yard, we had to go to the Capitol, the Washington, that park in front of the White House.
Mm-hmm.
Then,
however, we're running 2 hours behind schedule, so we were going to move it along sooner than that.
Okay.
So, I'm telling Doug to go to the university, correct?
That's what Mr. Kish asked us to do, so we'll go with that, and then it's a short walk to the next destination. So if there's anybody there, they can join Douglas, and everything's set.
So they're not going to convene in front of the White House? Or if people are there, then we need to get them over to the university.
No, Flint, they're going to walk from the university to the Lafayette Square.
Yeah. So from University Yard to Lafayette Square. And, so first go there, then go to the next one, and we are ready.
Yeah, he just said, though, they can meet and greet at the university there, and then they can go on over to the hotel for the show.
Flint, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. What are the correct directives now?
Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Again.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt you. I have contact with the people which are waiting for Douglas. I can ask them to move, but they are in the park in the rain. Okay. You want to have a direct connection with those people that they can talk to each other to find each other easier.
Okay, so what's the final word now?
Flint, I can send you the link from the person. You can talk directly to him, so that you can that they can find each other easier. I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you by Facebook, by Messenger.
Yeah. Okay. Now, what's the directives now that you want? Have everybody convene at the university, and then they're going into the hotel?
Yes, that stays the same. But you can talk to the people which are already there. That makes it maybe easier for them to find each other.
Okay, so they need to. So they're not convening in Lafayette Park in front of the White House then.
I do not know. What was agreed has to stay.
It's at the University Yard first, Flint, and then they're going to go hotel setup, and then the Lafayette Square comes at the end with going to White House.
I'm going to send you the name of the person which is there, which just sent me a video. That's the person who informed me that it's raining, that it started raining. So I just pass it on to you.
Okay, so convening at the university, then they're going to go to the Lafayette Square to meet and greet there, and then they're going to the hotel? Where do you want Doug to set up his stuff?
From what I understood, from what Mr. Kish says, it says make sure go to the university first, University Yard, and then go to a hotel to set it up.
Yeah.
And then the last phase is the, Lafayette Square and White House. So we'll wait for the last, point. So yeah, please go first to the university, then go to the hotel to set it up, and then
everybody's going to come to the hotel to see it.
From the hotel, they'll call the government.
Yeah.
What? Yes.
This is Mark Irvin.
Let's just work it out in the background here, guys. So just work it out in the background.
Okay.
¿Cómo se diría en inglés?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I sent apparently two groups. I've sent Flint two different posts.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, so you can find them. The more they're coming up, I will send them to you.
Okay.
Because I can only, if you find their, I asked them to contact you. So you see the names and you see the, I don't know if they're friends with you, but they're friends with Anke. She can help you out.
Okay. Thank you.
Because I'm going to lose network because we have to eat something. Otherwise, we won't find no more food.
Okay. Okay. So Mr. Cash wants them to meet at the university and then go set up at the
the way as it was set up, because I cannot direct because I don't have an overall view. So,
Yeah, I understand that. Just repeat what he said.
okay, speak to you later.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. This is Kevin Blundell, head of distribution for the foundation. I just wanted to let you know some people asking if there's sound problems. There are not. We're just waiting for final stages here, this final step. Douglas is in Washington, and they're just organizing where they're going to meet and the groups that are there that are meeting together. So just please stand by. It's a very exciting time.
Yes, we're just working in the background here, trying to organize a few things, and see there's a couple of questions and so on. Has anybody got any particular verbal questions? There's a couple, there was 3, I think, viewers that have come in the last few minutes. Anybody with a question or something they wanted to say there?
Thank you very much for all your hard work, guys.
Thank you.
The question was for Kevin, if there's any updates on the Arizona manufacturing facility?
Sure, I can give you that. I did send out an email to the distributors today about that. The Arizona factory does have product now ready to go, pens primarily, and they're working on units for doctors as well. And they've started with the UL certification process, so that's underway. I communicated with Arizona yesterday, and we're now just in the process of doing all the administrative things like organizing shipping, couriers, pricing, distributor pricing, and whatnot. So we're very close. And of course, there will be the opportunity to make arrangements for picking up product at the factory as well. So I'll be sending out an email to all of the distributors very shortly with more information, but we're very close now.
Were you able to obtain the CE certifications?
It is not underway yet, unfortunately. We're still waiting on that, but that's just due to the fact that we don't have a manufacturer in Canada yet. And of course, we had some setbacks with our with the different individuals that were working within the manufacturing. So that's been resolved, and we're back on track. So we're hoping that it's going to happen soon. But the certification process does take 2 to 3 months anyway. But I know for sure it's not underway yet, unfortunately. But a little bit longer than I would have liked to take place. But we are moving ahead, so that's really the most important thing.
What about the payment system? Has that been established?
Again, more delays associated with that. We're waiting. The process is underway. The paperwork has been submitted, if you want to look at that way, to the institutions that control that and will allow that to happen. And we're just there's delays happening. We're just waiting for responses at the other end.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Could you please elaborate on the type of products, especially in the health sector, please?
I'm sorry, could you ask that one more time?
Could you please elaborate on the products which are given in the health sector?
I don't have any specifics at this point, but once I do, I will. I've just been in communication with Arizona, and they've told me that they're working on a product that will be primarily available to doctors. I haven't been given any more specifics on it yet, but as soon as I do have the specifics, of course, I'll make it.
Yes. Can I add to this, please? The foundation has a policy. Anything to do with health or any other product, till we do not receive a health certification from a authority, we don't let it to be marketed publicly. So any health system, which even the pens, even the pads, you see they have a CE certification, health certification number 1 or code 1 and code 2, which means the doctors can prescribe. You see that on the back of all the documents, all the pens carry the CE mark. So any of the factories, till it'll take them a few more months, till they don't produce a certification for the materials, it cannot be done. We discourage them and we block them in so many ways to market such a thing.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. It tells me that he's already arrived. Stanley or somebody in the background can tell us if Douglas has arrived.
Yes, Douglas should be at the square. People are to make their way to the Lafayette Square from wherever they are at this point. They should meet Armin and Doug there at the very least, and Brett should be there as well.
Okay, can we see their camera if they're there?
I don't think they have that set up as of yet.
And those of you who received the PDF files to all the lead communication system of the Keshe Foundation, please do not release anything till you receive clear indication from Armin and me that you can release it. Then the blueprint at that time. We are waiting for Douglas to show the unit working first. This is the criteria. We wait till Douglas set up his system. He can show the working. All the ones who are present can see it. They can touch it, feel it. That there is no game around it, and then at that point, while we're live, we release it. Can we go to Douglas? Do we have access to him?
They're setting up Mr. Keshe, so there'll be just a couple of minutes, I think.
I have a message for you, Mr. Keshe, from the live stream.
Yeah.
From Mehdi Ali Khan. It says, Rick, please forward my message to Mr. Keshe that I congratulate him for the big day today, and that I am his very old friend from Riaja, blind girl. Just convey this, please.
I don't know what it means.
A blind girl? I don't, from Riaja?
Raja.
Raja.
Where from?
A very old friend, a blind girl from Raja. Mehdi Ali Khan.
Don't know. Doesn't ring a bell.
Oh, that's the message anyway. I'm not sure if she can fill in the detail that you might remember, but that's thought that might.
This could be the blind girl in which went blind on flight. We have, maybe that's the one. She must be in her mid-late 20s by now.
We'll wait and see if there's a comment back about that.
Good evening, Mr. Keshe. It's Kamil speaking. I have a question.
Who's speaking?
Kamil, and I'm actually in Austria.
Yes.
And I have a question concerning asthma, which has been also, the father had also an asthma already. And is there a possibility to inhalate some CO2, and would that be affected in a positive way?
Asthma, Caroline is an expert in this. Is emotional, it's psychosomatic. It shows itself in breathing, because lung is part of the whole structure of feeding the emotion. You maybe can use like a pipe of CO2, which not CO2, zinc oxide with CO2, that it brings satisfaction to the emotion and asthma is emotional problem.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And you have to strengthen the emotion, which you use as zinc oxide with CO2. You can do what by drinking the GANS liquid plasma, and what do you call it? Breathing it. And you need to do that, and then you'll find out. But you have to find out what's the cause of it. Has a cause. Asthma has a cause, has a reason.
Mm-hmm. So as the father had already asthma, that might be.
Doesn't matter, it's irrelevant. Therefore, the son can have asthma because of something else, and the father has it because of something else. Okay. It's not inherited. Mm-hmm. It is not. This is our research shows, and it's very, very effective immediately.
Okay, and inhalating, it means like a tube with. Or...
Yeah, you make a tube, and you like, let's say you make a straw, and around the straw you make a tube with CO2 and zinc oxide in it. Okay. And then the air you breathe carries. I've done this a lot of time. It's very, very effective, but you have to find out the source of the problem.
It will show up then with the time.
Maybe not, but usually have what we've seen. Caroline has done a lot of work on this, and she's written a paper called My Pillow, My Life, because it goes through a different system of breathing, but you discuss your problem, and then they tell you what the problem is.
Okay.
Thank you very much. We're just waiting. I'm gonna be offline for about 10 minutes. I join you back in. If they arrive, let me know. I try to carry my mobile with me.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Welcome.
Sandor.
Stanley, yeah?
Sandor?
No, Stanley.
Hi, Stanley. Okay, just give me 10 or 15 minutes. I'll be back by the time they get there.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Welcome.